Percy Jackson, and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. The first book series to start to look at and delve into for our adaptation series is one that many may know but not have seen. So why start with this? This is one that also has a TV series that just began, and interestingly enough, the book, movie, and TV series are all from the same company. The book was published by Hyperion, which at one time was Disney, but in 2013, the Hachette Group took it over. The movies, two in total, were produced by Fox in 1492, which is now owned by Disney. The recently created TV series is from Disney and only seen on Disney+. Before going into the differences and issues, let's think about the author's voice in the process of the movie, and in the case of this series, this is key. Rick Riordan tells us that he had no control over the movie. The rights to the book were sold before the book even came out. In fact, this is what he wrote on November 16, 2018 on his site rickriordan.com in the news area in a post he titled "Memories from My TV Movie Experience." This is quoted from the site. Recently, I asked you guys what kind of team you'd like to see in charge if a Disney-led Percy Jackson reboot were to happen again. I have to warn you, this is entirely hypothetical, just wishful thinking, not based on any concrete plans in the pipeline. Even if some reboot happened someday, I would have zero control over it because those rights were signed away before the first PJO book was even published, and like most authors, my contract was very standard in that Hollywood controls all things and all decisions about the movie. The author may or may not be consulted, but the movie folks have final say on everything. There is a widespread myth that authors have much more control over movie decisions than we actually do. Even the most potent authors, yes, the ones you are thinking of right now, have way less influence and control than you think they do. Nobody talks about that though, because when a movie is just coming out, it is in the studio's interest for it to sound like everybody was very involved and pleased with the final product. In reality, the best we authors can hope for is a reasonable team effort, where everyone gets along, has the same vision, and works together well. Sometimes that happens. When you hear this, it does not give you confidence that he was happy with the body of work the film was. Let's start with the book. Rick Riordan does a great job making this book sound like a 12-year-old narrating the story to you. The voice, the descriptions really are like a 12-year-old. You have the sarcasm of a 12-year-old, the honesty and the feelings that one that age would feel come off the page. It makes reading the book more fun and relaxing. The book is a journey that you are taken on with Percy. It is an adventure filled with fun, danger, friendship, and learning moments. Percy wasn't perfect, but he was true to himself. You notice I mentioned that Percy is 12 years old in the book. Why is this important? Well, one of the significant distinctions between the book and the movie adaptation is because Percy is not 12 in the movie. Percy is 17 years old. Percy's actions and demeanor are not the same as what you get in the book. The maturity level is different than you are expecting. Now Percy in the movie is played by Logan Lerman, who is a good actor, but for Percy it is hard because in your mind you are looking for a kid and not someone older. So that has you, right off the bat, being off-put by this movie. This is a significant deviation from the book. With this book being the first in a series, it is hard to see a progression of Percy in the movies because they start him at an older age. The book series is based on the progression of Percy from ages 12 to 16 when he is making huge and everlasting decisions. Decisions that can have devastating effects to the world. At an older age, you do not really see a progression. The character has really developed his ideas and beliefs in a more solidified way. The demographic for this series is families and middle school-aged readers. I read it because I loved the concept of the Greek gods in a fun-loving book. It helps you learn mythology without realizing it, and really gives you an exciting and entertaining book. I loved reading something from a fun, fresh perspective of a kid and really seeing that in my mind. You do sit there and think this really is how at that age you would do something. But nevertheless, it is for middle school, and when you see the characters at an older age, it does scare you and put you off the movie. You begin to wonder, what else will they change? Will this be true to the book? How will the conversation of the book change? And it does, for with older age in a character, not only does the mannerisms change, but so does how they speak. You get more mature dialogue, and it does take away from the story and your imagination being able to take off and soar like it can with the book. Many will say, well, changing a character's age brings in the broader audience, but I say, if that was the case, how come Harry Potter did not have that occur? That series' age of Harry was not changed, and look how successful those movies are, and yes, we will dive into those books versus movies as well. We basically grow up with Harry in the books and the movies. We see his struggles as he grows, and his thoughts and beliefs grow and mature. This would be great to have been seen with Percy, and in the books we do. We see the influence being raised by his mom has on him. The influence of how he was raised and her decisions have on him. We see him struggle in the books with decisions and how the outcome and his choices affect him in a more tangible way. You grow with Percy in the books, whereas once you start at an older age, there isn't growth with the character, for the character really is formed already. With an older character, the storyline vibe and feel changes. That fun-loving aspect to Percy is no longer there. An older character is more severe and defined. He isn't confused about things at 12 years old is like feelings and who he is, so the story can change, and so does the feel of the character and story. There isn't a buildup of a crush and being lost and confused on these feelings, but a romance that can start right away. It truly changes the feel of the story and the character of Percy himself. And it is not just Percy this occurs with either. All the characters are older and their personalities in the book are different than in the movie. The book can now become just a guide once the age of the main character changes, and in this movie that did occur. When you read the book, there are descriptions of what the characters look like, and in the movie, those are thrown out the window, really. And the book does become just a guide for the movie, which is sad because the book is so excellent. Some facts have changed and do not make sense at all, but I am thinking that maybe creatively they worked better to those creating the movie. The movie has the book as an outline, really. We still have Percy learning he is a demigod and going on a quest. The quest is the same, but the journey changes quite a bit. Our antagonist in the movie does not come off the way he is in the book, but as a whiny teen. We lose the feel of that romance beginning, but the confusion at that age is missing as well. Grover's role is similar but different. He is still his protector, but the journey to the camp differs. His meeting Annabeth changes as well. Your Miss Dodd's encounter has changed as well at the museum. Little things are not too bad, and you can say okay because the book is still seen in those areas. Many minute details that are important and help with understanding things are missing from the movie. For example, the Yankees cap of Annabeth is a big one. Meeting Ares is a big one. The final fight scene from the book, huge one to change. When you change so much from the book and only use it to help guide you into the movie, you lose the essence of the story and the book. The journey of Percy in the book is epic and amazing. His fun-loving nature and confusion draw you to him, and the movie, he was not this. He was severe and didn't really have moments that you say there is the Percy we know from the books. The journey to Hades is different and not as exciting and fun. We also don't learn as much as in the book. In the movie, we don't get the introduction to the Oracle, so the quest does change a bit. The mom part of the quest is the same, but the rest does change. The reasoning for the quest was off. Adventures and character-building moments were completely cut off. Important characters that should have been there in the first place were not there, such Clarice, Dionysus, Kronos, and Ares to name a few. By making those changes, the book is lost in the shuffle. So many key defining moments were not seen or changed that the story gets lost. Key moments like the being defined, Ares that is a biggie, and the journey and quest itself. The thing is, we all know that things need to be cut from books when making a movie because of the time a movie is. Generally, movies are not longer than 1.5 hours. So you do cut things from the book to adapt it to the movie time format, and that is understandable, but when you cut out the heart of the book, it is harder to swallow. Now I will say at least this Percy Jackson movie does follow the outline of the book, whereas the second is just a hot mess. Can I say that the movie adaptation was successful? To me, no. I think if you hadn't read the book, you may enjoy the changes, but this is one where you can't even make an argument that the changes helped or are okay to have been made. With so many changes and lost moments, the movie becomes a ghost of what you know and love with the book. Again, that is not to say that those who have not read the book won't enjoy it. I am sure many have since the second movie was made that one will have a rant, a huge, huge rant. Let me warn you now, but those who read the book are disappointed and wish when Chris Columbus did this for Fox, he listened to Rick Riordan's suggestions when he gave them. Maybe then we would see more of the book we knew and loved in the movie. Stay tuned for more in our look at the adaptations of books into movies or TV series and shows.